Hello everyone and welcome back to the Gavra Racing GT7 Championship. We're here for round number 8 at, not number 8, number 6 at Autopolis in Japan, where 5 drivers tonight will battle out for the top step on the podium. The championship leader's not here, and without further ado, let's get into today's starting grid for the Japanese Grand Prix. On pole position is yes, we can finally say that Piero's, well, my new phrase for Piero, the pink Piero on pole position. I should note that he got pole by over 1 second to second place, which is absolutely incredible stuff. Probably the biggest pole margin we've seen all season, if not in GT7 ever. So, yeah, great job from Piero. Puts himself on the front row of the grid for today's race. In second place, it's myself, Natty G, on the front row. Car number 32 will be hoping to put a 1 on the end of that. Hello, Bonnie in the chat. Good evening. In third place is Cameron Kaboom, starting on the front of the second row of the grid. Just behind him is Toussaint 0208, car number 27. We'll be hoping to go for 1 extra number than a 2 or a 7. What's up? Leads in the chat. Hello. And at the back of the grid is Aston in the Jaguar Super Formula livery, I should add. There we go. Lots of people tuning in to the start of this stream. Hello, Cameron Kaboom as well, joining us in the chat. I should also add the driver we do populate this grid as the season progresses, but we seem to have a new driver joining every week and then another one who can't make it for some reason. So if you want to start in 6th place or 14th, if you brought your motorbike, you can join us on this grid here at Autopolis. I'm not going to waste any more time, and we're going to get this race started as soon as I get my statistics up. When is the live stream of Monza? That will be after Spa and the Nürburgring, so hopefully next Friday, Saturday, 27th, 28th. I'm aiming to get that stream done about that, roughly that time. I should get the whole season finished by the end of the month. That's what the aim is for. I'm assuming you guys can hear me because you're asking questions, so that should be all good. There we go. Let's get this race underway. 31 laps of Autopolis lie ahead of us, and if you see in the bottom left, it is slightly damp on track. 5 red lights, 5 drivers, it's lights out, and away we go for the Japanese Grand Prix. Piero leading the field away from pole position. It's a good start from Cameron Kaboom in third place, pulls alongside Natty G down the inside and towards turn 1, gets a little bit of a bump from Aston, braking late going in towards the first corner. Contact between him and Toussaint as Toussaint's in the wall. Aston speared off to the left hand side and is in the gravel as the leaders now make their way down towards turn 2 and 3. A very bizarre accident. I don't think Aston saw Toussaint on the inside, on the right hand side of the track, going down towards turn 2, which led to the wheel-to-wheel contact. Aston now at the back of the pack, and Toussaint with some work to do on those medium tyres. The track is still damp and will be for the first couple of laps here in Autopolis, but all the drivers starting on the dry compounded tyres. A mix between the softs and the mediums at a track that has or is quite known for high tyre wear and degradation, so we'll see how that impacts the drivers throughout the course of this evening. Piero, though, leading the field away from Cameron Kaboom, who's made his way up into second place after overtaking Natty, who's now dropped into third place, but putting Cameron under some pressure. Cameron on the mediums, Natty opting to start on the soft compound tyres and running a little bit wide onto the curb and over the grass, which won't help his lap time through the middle sector. Rounding the final corner is the top 3, the race leaders, to start lap 2 of 31. A very overcast Autopolis circuit. You can already see we've done 1 racing lap, and the wear to Piero's soft tyres is showing the red pixels starting to form at the top of the white bars, indicating the tyre life. So yeah, we really do have a mix between the softs and the mediums. If you're running first, third and fifth, you're on the softs. If you're in second and fourth, We're on the mediums, it seems, so we should be able to see Natty work his way through Cameron Kaboom. Due to the pace difference between those two tyre compounds, although it appears that Cameron's showing some great pace early on those medium tyres to stay ahead of the car behind, whilst on a compound harder. Meanwhile, Piero has left Cameron Kaboom behind. He is gone, pushing hard on those soft compound tyres to get out a gap through the car behind. It's already about 2-3 seconds, and we're on the second lap of 31, so it could be a Dutchy domination style of performance from Piero. And I think Toussaint might have made another mistake. He's dropped a little bit of time to Natty and Cameron in front after being caught up in the lap 1 accident with Aston, who's running in 5th place. 1:26.8 compared to a 25.6, so over a second slower than the cars in front of him. But we know Toussaint and the pace that he has in the locker. So we'll have to see how he can use his experience to work his way back through the field. Piero cooking in the chat. Piero is definitely cooking something in the early phases of this race. A second a lap quicker than the car behind on the last lap. You can see in the minimap in the top right-hand corner of the screen his advantage to the 2 cars behind him and to the rest of the field. Hopefully we can increase the number of drivers by 3 times by the time we start the next season. Registrations aren't quite open just yet, but please let me know if you are interested in racing, and I'll make a mental note of it just to gauge some early numbers. But at this stage of the race, it looks like Natty might have the pace advantage over Cameron Kaboom, although can't quite work with anything, being stuck behind in the dirty air. You can see the front tyres do take quite the beating at this circuit due to the nature of the long swooping left-hander in the middle sector, and then the long right-handers in the final sector. It would be funny next season if we could race karts. That has been a one-off event idea, although as a season I think would be very chaotic. But the lap times matching the colour on Piero's car. Purple all around. Does he improve in the middle sector? Not quite, but does have the fastest lap of the race. As usual in these GT League races, expect the fastest lap to go down throughout the course of the race as drivers pit for fresher, quicker compounds of tyre and as the fuel load depletes. Right on board with X-Matty G through the final sector here at Autopolis. Interestingly, slightly different lines taken from him and Cameron Kaboom. I think Cameron ran slightly wider, but you could see the understeer and the dirty air that's being wafted. Wafted's not a word, I don't think. But there is definitely a turning issue being stuck behind Cameron Kaboom in the dirty air. Cameron on those medium compound tyres already got some wear to them after 5 laps of racing. Going down towards turn 1. Quite an awkward first corner because you can't quite see the apex just due to the nature of the corner. It's right on board. You only really see the curve as you're turning into the corner, so you really have to have some strong muscle memory and do a lot of practice for this tricky technical circuit. Only really one main overtaking opportunity down towards the first corner, but something can be constructed down towards the hairpin that Piero is going through. Natty and Cameron are making their way towards. This track, the only Japanese track on the calendar, which is quite a rare sight in previous seasons gone by. Often we've gone to at least 2 different Japanese circuits, and that's X-Matty G getting a grips for the new WRC game a little bit too early onto the grass, and he goes and will lose a lot of time to Cameron Kaboom. we can watch that one one more time on board. Just takes a lot too much curb, too much speed on the inside, and takes the trip to the grass. I didn't realise Super Formulas made lawnmowers, but Natty certainly promoting the idea. That has brought Two Saints into attacking range, maybe about 2 or 3 seconds now between the two former F1 champions. One of them is a double GT champion, one only a mini season. So definitely a skill difference between the two when you look at the data and the stats, but the stats don't say everything. Natty running in 3rd place, Two Saint in 4th, and both have had their offs thus far in this race. So only the top 2 are yet to take a trip to the grass or the gravel, dependent on how bad the accident has been for some of the drivers this race. No safety cars, no red flags to bring anyone back into the thick of it, I guess. Well, there are manual red flags that we deploy if the lobby disconnects or there's a lobby failure. Then there are rules in place for manual red flags. 3 red flags and the race is suspended, and depending on how much of the race we cover, depends on how many points the drivers get, if any. Currently our closest battle out on track is the battle for 3rd place between Natty and Two Saints, one on very worn mediums, one on very worn softs, one on worn mediums. The soft compound tyre lasts about 9 to 11 laps. That is the pit window for the soft compound tyre, and the tyre regulations state that both the softs and the mediums have to be used throughout the course of this race, I do believe. Or it might just be the mediums. I'm not too sure. No, it must be the softs. Has to be the softs and the mediums. I'll just double check that now, and indeed it is soft and medium, the red and yellow striped compound of tyre. Piero with a lot of wear to the front left especially, will probably be aiming to pit within the next 3 to 4 laps, although he's not under any pressure from the car behind. Cameron Kaboom, not only on a different compound, harder, but will be doing his best to mitigate the time lost whilst he's on this slower compound. But the time difference between the two, actually having said that, Cameron and Piero setting identical lap times on the last lap, only 500ths between the two, so maybe the mediums are starting to come into play in this race. We're potentially at a crossover point between the two compounds. A little bit of smoke coming from the back of Two Saints Super Formula as he overheats the front tyres through the long swooping left-hander in the middle sector. That is turn 8 and 9. 19 corners make up this Japanese circuit, located somewhere in Japan. You can see there the smoke again coming off of Two Saints tyres before he goes off into the gravel. Gives a high five to the marshal at that marshal post. Maybe he wanted a trade of phone numbers or a selfie or something. But that will cost Two Saint in his pursuit of ex-Natty G. Maybe was trying to push too hard to close the gap, which led to the error. Either way, Piero now in and out of the pits in 2nd place and behind Natty, who stayed out for another lap on those worn soft compound tyres as they make their way through turn 3. Natty pulls over to the right-hand side of the track, and Piero goes on through. Can Natty hold it round the outside? Has the inside line for the hairpin at turn 6. Piero runs deep and a little bit wide, maybe to give room to Natty on the inside. But those fresh soft compound tyres are no match for Natty's 8-lap worn soft compound tyres. We were talking about this last week, the potential different driving style that Two Saint has compared to some of the other drivers, most notably with this battle with myself in the last race at Interlagos, how he was going through his front tyres more than the rears compared to Natty, who was burning the rears more than the front. So potentially maybe overworking the car, giving it a bit too much steering lock, which has caused the excess front tyre wear, and ultimately the visible tyre smoke on your screen. It wouldn't have been tyre smoke, I don't think, in the lobby, but I think it's slightly over-exaggerated sometimes in the spectator cam. X90G's pulled into the pit lane. I think he ran over the white line on entrance, as noted by the red time, the initial red stopwatch that was in the middle of the screen. Soft compound tyres go off, and it's going to be onto a set of the yellow striped medium. Got away with just slightly going over that chicane into the pit lane entrance. Comes out in 4th place behind Toussaint. He's making his way down in towards the right-hander of turn 3. Hello, welcome everyone who is tuning in to the live stream of the round number 6 here at Autopolis in Japan. We have Cameron Kaboom currently leading the race, but is yet to make a pit stop. Your next race leader is Piero, running in 2nd place. Only 5 drivers here tonight. And of course, if you are new to the stream, this race is not live. At the time of recording, the season has finished, and we are looking to start up season 9 in the not too near future, not too far future, I should say. Nothing has been announced as of yet, but if you're new, or you've been around but you're not a veteran, you haven't done a full season before, please just let me send me a message on Discord or PlayStation if you are interested in signing up for next season, which is likely to contain a GT class. First season that we are in the high downforce super formulas. And like I've said before, we've had 14 drivers enter a race, yet not all of them are available every week, which unfortunately doesn't provide the most entertaining of live action streams, but it does mean that we do get some nice 1v1s occasionally. Can you tell us what classes of car will be running next season, or is it still classified information? I have not started any form of testing as of yet, but we will likely go back to a Group 3 class alongside another. Like in previous seasons, we've done Group 3, Group 4 and Group 2 in a 15 race calendar and a 12 race calendar. So we might do Group 3, Group 2, Group 4, Group 2! That's a little bit of poo coming out of the back of X90G's car. Big tank slapper through the hairpin of turn 11 in the middle sector. It's done well to keep it in a straight line as he hunts down Toussaint for the final podium position as he runs off the track and spins for good measure. Little bit of donuts for the fans as he now gets his car going back in the right direction with a plume of smoke leaving the rear tyres just as he caught up to the back of Toussaint. He's now going to do all the work again. Not ideal, but Toussaint's into the pits, so Natty will re-inherit 3rd place at the cost of doing a pirouette at the exit of turn 16. But no, it's going back to Cameron's comments earlier on, it doesn't really, well, for me, in my position, it didn't seem that Super Formula was the most popular class of car to run this season, despite requests. So yeah, we'll probably go back to GT / group classes. But there will be a couple of events in between for those of you who are interested in racing in Super Formulas or the Red Bulls, road cars, whatever you guys are interested in. We'll try and boost the numbers up over Christmas and go back to running a solid, healthy 16-car grid for Season 9. Who knows, we might even get 2 leagues. That will be a nice goal to aim for. Piero now going for a move down the inside of Cameron Kaboom in towards turn 1 to take 1st place. And the lead of the race here on lap 12 of 31. Cameron's going to try and fight this back on very worn medium compound tyres, but tucks in behind. Probably the right thing to do for Cameron Kaboom. Piero now, after making his pit stop, has taken the lead of the race back once again. Cameron Kaboom still needs to pit. Not sure what's happened there, but a little bit of a burnout from X90G, who's Well, we've got to go back a little bit further than that to see what's happened to the 3-time F1 champion. Coming through the penultimate corner, a bit of a tank slapper, and then a spin for good measure. Keeps it out of the barrier quite nicely, but that's the third mistake. And I'm sorry to pause this, but I should do this in my own time, really, but we could get a really sick photo. There's another replay of the car spinning and going round. But if anyone else wants to spin during the course of this race, and we could get some pretty sick action photos of cars in the smoke like that. Like, come on. Imagine if that was at Tokyo Expressway, just how awesome that would look. Anyway, I won't. No, I will. Let's just. Apologies for doing this mid-stream, mid-race. This is not what you're here for, but it's all part of the entertainment at the end of the day. You know, it's like that Stroll moment in Monaco. You want to watch the action, but the TV directors are doing other things, so you've got to let them do what they've got to do. Anyway, back to the race. Nati can continue on his way, as can I, doing the commentary. But that is the third mistake from the driver running in third place, and you can see the cars behind him in his rearview mirror on the same bit of tarmac. Toussaint and Aston both have Nati in his sights. Another comment just a bit of a concern raised, I should say, about Cameron Caboon's tyres. Have to agree, the front left screaming to be taken off that car. He's reached the punctured territory on those medium tyres. Cameron Caboon surely will be coming into the pits at the end of this lap. Look how he struggles to get the front turned in for the final corner. All part of Cameron Caboon's strategy, I would imagine, nearly hits the barrier on the inside of the pit lane entrance. That would not have been ideal. Maybe going for a 2-stop, whereas others might be going for a 3-stop. Apparently I'm not cooking. Well, I'm cooking my rear tyres, that's what I will say. In terms of a good race finishing position, I'm not cooking much in terms of that. And another slide through the final sector for Xnati G. It is a difficult track to get right, one of which seems to favour Piero in his driving style, or maybe he just bodes well with this circuit compared to other drivers. A 1 minute 23.6 is the fastest lap of the race so far. Look at the other lap times that are being set. Yes, Nati's made mistakes. Actually, if you're looking for consistency, that is the complete opposite when you look at those lap times. I guess a similar thing could be said for Toussaint. Aston not doing too badly as well in the consistent charts. I believe lap 67 was a pit stop. Although it's hard to tell this late on in the race. After 13 laps at a high tide beg circuit, Piero starts lap 14 of 31, and we're nearly at the halfway stage of the race. 19 minutes in to a 31 lap race. Piero leads from Cameron Caboon in second, and Nati is your top three. You've got Toussaint in fourth and Aston in fifth. No body evil here tonight, so the gap at the front of the championship will decrease no matter what, unless all the drivers retire and the race is declared null and void. Toussaint gaining on Xnati G in the battle for third place. A little bit of cockpit cam action, driver's eye on board with a two-time GT champion. Season 1 and Season 6 has never won consecutive titles. No one, apart from Clay Duchy, has won a consecutive title here in the GT Championships. We've had 3 different champions. I forgot. Monza hasn't been streamed yet, but there's clarification that Play Duchy doesn't win this season. Obviously, he's not been here for most of it. Nearly leaked it for the new viewers who are watching this consecutively and are not participating in this season as a driver. But out of the champions who've won it before Season 7, No one has won it consecutively apart from Faidachi. Into the pits goes your race leader off of the soft compound tyres. Is it going to be another set of soft compound tyres? Indeed it is. Piero going for a very aggressive approach to this high tyre big circuit. We're on lap 15. He's used 3 sets of soft, oh no, it's medium, sorry. It's medium compound tyres going onto the car. For a minute it said softs. As you can see on the track map, that is the gap between Cameron and Piero. The difference in strategy being Piero's gone soft, medium. Cameron Begrin's gone medium. And so Piero's made 1 extra stop and gained so much more time on the fresh soft compound tyres. You are a true fan, watching every stream. I think it's a little bit. It's difficult when it's. I get it. Usually these streams will be done every Saturday evening. You know, all the drivers would tune in, would get, you know, the other viewers as well. But yeah, me doing it at regular times doesn't help with the viewer numbers. But the stats, not the stats, the views are pretty solid on YouTube as well. If you're not already subscribed, head over to our YouTube channel, where all the races are published there as well. You could hear the tyres screaming there as ex-Natty G went a little bit slidey over the curb. Again, another slide, maybe feeling the pressure of a champion behind him. Toussaint already using a lot of his overtake, 50% used, 50% left. Natty has used about 73%. Cameron about the same as Natty, and Piero, the top 3, sharing similar amounts of overtake. Aston yet to touch it as he brings his car into the pits. Well, our closest on-track battle is the battle for 3rd place. Toussaint on soft compound tyres, Natty on medium, so a compound between the two, although Toussaint's tyres are going to go off a lot quicker than that of ex-Natty G's as they make their way up to the hairpin of turn 11. One of 2 main overtaking opportunities here at this Japanese circuit. Will we see any moves made into that corner? I think this track favours touring cars and Super GTs as opposed to Super Formulas, although in real life I did watch a couple of Super Formula races prior to putting it on the calendar, and there were some pretty entertaining bits of footage. The thing about this circuit though is if when you go for a move, especially in the first sector, it's often you can keep going. I don't really know how to word it any other way, but you can pull back alongside and you can send it down the inside, but then it becomes the outside, but then you have the inside line back. So it's one of those tracks where it's difficult to go for a move, but if you're alongside, then you can have some pretty good wheel-to-wheel action. But yeah, it's one of those circuits that's not favoured by a fair number of drivers from what I've heard. Lap 17 of 31, so we're over the halfway mark of this race, and Gavra continues to lead as he started from pole position. Hasn't quite led every single lap after making the first pit stop of the race, so not quite going to be the Grand Slam performance we saw from Born Evil last week, but it's still been a pretty impressive and dominant race performance from him, making his way in towards turn 1. Let's have a look at his lap time. So we've got 15, 16, 17, 18. It's about 10 seconds between him and Cameron Caboon. If you look at the lap time at the stopwatch, it's the best way to gauge the lap time in the spectator cam, assuming no drivers make a mistake. You can see that the little flip. We've got some will-to-will action there for third place. Natty and Toussaint side by side through the final corner. The battle for third place between the two Premier Series champions. The two-time GT champion tucked up behind next. Natty going in towards turn one. Natty pulls over to the right-hand side of the circuit, defensive going in towards the first corner. How does Toussaint attack this? Can he find a way down the inside, or would it be round the outside? Through turn two, the little kink right-hander. Natty parking his car nearly in the middle of the circuit, just off the racing line. And manages to defend third place for now. Toussaint in fourth place. His soft tyres are dead. He's got a puncture to the front left. Natty still has a little bit of life left on those mediums, which is probably just about keeping them in third place for now. Look at the understeer and the dirt that Toussaint's getting through the long left-hander of turn 8 and 9. The kink of turn 10 and up to the uphill hairpin of turn 11. But our first bit of wheel-to-wheel action since the lead changed from Cameron to Piero. This time it's for the final spot on the podium. Either way, it's going to be a Brit who takes it. And I think it's about time Toussaint thinks about pitting. Probably will be a good idea to pit as of now, as he's gone straight on into the barrier. No, I mean, we can ride on board and see exactly what happened once again. Went to carry too much speed through the left-hander, turn 17, but that puncture to the front left, meaning can't quite get the front turned in and hitting the barrier on the outside, resulting in front bumper and suspension damage. Probably the best time to get damage though is he peels into the pits. We can get it repaired whilst he's stationary and not lose too much time out on the circuit. Well, I believe the first driver to meet the barrier. This could be close between himself and Aston, who's going in towards turn one. Pulls to a late dive to the inside. Aston now up into fourth place. Toussaint will have to settle for fifth unless he can go for a move on the outside. Aston goes defensive. You can see his car on the right-hand side of the circuit. Look how much later Toussaint is. Keeps his bumper in, becomes the inside for turn four. Aston just about keeps himself ahead on slightly fresh, soft compound tyres. So Aston has worked his way up into fourth place despite the contact he had on lap one with the car behind him out on circuit. They say that you can't overtake at Autopolis and it's an impossible track to make a move. Let's see how Toussaint makes his way past Aston. I think Loyalty hasn't found the overtake button. He's used a little bit of it, maybe about 10%. Obviously brand Loyalty is Aston F1, a different nickname to his PlayStation nickname, but it's a strategy that we've seen a lot lately this season, especially in the first few rounds. Austria, Trail Mountain, and what track was it? Austria, Trail Mountain, and I can't remember, but one other. Most of the drivers tend to not use their overtake at all until the final 6 or 7 laps. When they make their final pit stop, they go for a fast lap attempt and they burn it all at the end. You can see Pierre and Cameron Kaboom, they haven't really used much of theirs. They've only used 25%. Natty and Toussaint have used, or Toussaint's used the most. I guess there's the two strategies. Well, there's three strategies of the overtake button, using it at the start and the finish, all of it at the start, or most of it at the start and most of it at the end, or spreading it out throughout the course of the race to have like a consistent gain in performance. And with that, only using it. I see smoke and no car in front of Toussaint, which means someone has gone off, and that can only be Aston F1. I'll get to the comment in a minute. Let's just see exactly what happens to the Brits. A little bit loose through the final section and dips the wheel onto the grass and is sent spinning into the barrier as Natty comes into the pits. So many struts I can't keep up. So basically with the overtake, it doesn't recharge throughout the course of the race. So the drivers they can either use it all at the start of the race to gain an early boost in performance. That's often good at tracks that's really difficult to overtake at. They either use it all at the end of the race, which is the most popular option, so they can push the fastest lap when the fuel load's at a minimal and use it for any late attacks or defences. Or they just use it throughout the course of the race, a little bit here and there, maybe every lap or two, to get a constant gain in performance, and only use it when necessary. That's the overtake strat. There's not really much strategy in terms of the fuel load. I guess it depends on when you top up. You do have to top up a little bit, but the refueling speed is set to times 6 or times 8. No, I think it's times 8 this season. So saving fuel throughout the course of the race isn't much of an importance as it has been in previous sessions. You don't gain 4, 5, 6 seconds a stint by saving a little bit of fuel. So that is an option, but not necessary. But the drivers don't have enough fuel to take them to the end of the race. It's all about managing how much fuel you put in at each pit stop. As for tyres, every race is a different mandatory set. This week it's either softs or softs and mediums are the mandatory tyre. Failure to use the mandatory tyres will result in a 1 minute time penalty for every tyre not used. So I think last week the mandatory tyre was it was either mediums or 2 different compounds, 2 DC. Lap 23 of 31, just over 10 laps to go. Sorry, just under 10 laps to go, I should say. Piero leads this race from Cameron Kaboom in second and Toussaint in third, Natty in fourth on fresh and medium compound tyres, which should see him to the end of this race unless there's any fastest lap attempt. And this could be an interesting end to this race. If Natty's going to the end on mediums and we've got Toussaint on warm softs, who I don't think will be going to the end, he will likely make another pit stop for soft compound tyres and will have to hunt down Natty for third place. We could see a late charge from the 2-time champion to see if he can find himself back up on the podium. I've had luck because for fuel I had Dutch as a trainer in the GT3 season who taught me how to save fuel. It's always handy when you have Play Dutchy, the 5-time GT champion, helping you out. I think when it comes to strategy, I don't know who the best would be. I mean, yeah, I'll just leave it there. I don't want to toot my horn or anything, you know. We've not seen too many disaster classes in strategy. Let's just say that. It was a lot harder when we ran endurance layouts, when it was a 60-minute race and you had to calculate how much fuel you needed to get to the end. And I did like that aspect of that element of strategy and kind of uncertainty, because obviously if it rains the lap times get shorter, so there'll be less laps potentially. You don't exactly know how many laps there are in a 60-minute race, but we haven't used the 60-minute endurance feature since season 2. We're now in season 8. Maybe we should bring it back to season 9. Although I think the lap counter is preferred. but who knows? We'll have to wait and see. I do hold the record. Well, I say the record, not me personally, but I have changed something every season. So yeah, no two seasons have been the same. Whether it be car classes, oh hello, that could be a spin, or just excessive tyre smoke. Let's have a look. Whilst we're watching, see who's saying. No, just overheating those tyres. So yeah, no two GT seasons have been the same as the race leaders come into the pits for their final stops. Pierre into the pits, I think, for the third time this race. It's the three stops for him. I appreciate that doing this stream on a Saturday evening probably isn't the best time to do it. Obviously, it's been a great day for the EU football fans, depending on what teams, but obviously. But this is like the perfect Saturday for you guys at home. You have, if you're a football fan as well, like I am, you've got football at 12:30, 3 o'clock, 4:30, and then 8 o'clock. So the Man United match is just about to kick off for those Man United fans. You get a GT7 stream and an F1 sprint race as well. A day full of sporting action. But here we go. The final 6 laps of this race. Toussaint pitting for fresh soft compound tyres. For me it's 9 in the afternoon. Oh yes, because you are from the Netherlands, I believe. So yes, an hour ahead of those living in the UK and Ireland. Yeah, it's a good Saturday when you've got a day full of Premier League action and an evening of F1 and or GT7. Has Toussaint left it too late to gain the time on Natty G, despite the mistakes that the Flying Fern has made in tonight's race? He still finds himself in a podium position. Meanwhile up front, Pierre is about to lap Aston, who's been waved the blue flags. It's been an outstanding performance from the Frenchman tonight. Hasn't been rivaled by anyone. Oh, I forgot to order food. Apologies guys, so I will be ordering food over the next, actually no, I'll make something or I'll use leftovers. Aston about to be lapped for the first time this race, first time this season, as Gavra starts lap 27 of 31. 5 laps to go for the 5 drivers here tonight. And this is what I was saying about leaving it late with the overtake. Cameron Caboon on fresh soft compound tyres, low fuel load, and a lot of overtake at his disposal means he can push for the fastest lap of the race. He's 4/10 purple through the first sector, so we'll keep riding on board with the brick as he continues this lap to see if he can improve his personal best of a 23.6. He's 5.5 tenths up through the middle sector, so it's looking good for Cameron Caboon, running in second place. Don't think we'll challenge for the race win in the dying stages of this race. It will certainly secure 1 bonus point in the championship fight. Drivers trying to capitalise on the championship leader's absence in today's race. 22.99, unable to attend the Japanese Grand Prix. As Cameron Caboon goes through the long super right-handed turn 18, the final corner, turn 19, it's a short line up to the line, and a 1:23.2 makes a new fastest lap of the race. Interestingly, he didn't find that much time through the final corner. Nearly going off track is Gavra. I'm going to quickly look back in the battle for third place. Can Toussaint close down the gap to Natty G? It's looking unlikely. We'll have to wait and see. 1:25.2 for Toussaint compared to a 26.5 for Natty, so Toussaint is certainly gaining. Let's try and work out the rough gap between them. So look at Natty's lap time, 23, 24, 25. So was Toussaint going through the 15 mark at the time? There's about 10 seconds between the two of them with 4 laps to go. 1.3 times 4. It's about, what's that, 5.2? So Toussaint needs to double the time that he's gaining, or hope that Natty makes a mistake if he's to finish on the podium here in tonight's race. Nearly a mistake from Natty. He runs wide onto the grass after being thrown out by the inside curb. Nearly a very costly error. But Piero has been on it today. Nothing that we've ever seen before from the Frenchman. He's had to start the penultimate lap of this race in the lead of the race without the fastest lap. But did start on pole position, so we'll get those 3 points in the bag. Cameron Kaboom's coming up to the back of Aston F1. As he actually decides to dive into the pit lane, so maybe I don't think he's got enough fuel to go to the end of the race. It's only 3 litres. It does also mean he could go for fastest lap, I think. Yeah, I think he can still go for fastest lap, despite being a lap down. Into the final closing stages of this race, and it's been an interesting race to say the least for a number of drivers. Natty's had his fair share of spins. Toussaint and Aston have had 1 or 2 each, followed after their lap 1 incident on the entrance, and well, basically by turn 2, this little pink right-hander. But the race has been dominated by one man and one man only, and that has been the man who started on pole position, the pink Piero, on another level tonight. His qualifying lap saw him take pole by over 1 second, which is one of the biggest margins we've seen in qualifying, not only this season, but in the previous 7 seasons as well. I think only Clay Dutchy has been able to get a qualifying gap so big to second place before. I can't quite think of another session like it. But in a race where other drivers have made mistakes and perhaps have been on the wrong tyre at the wrong time, Pierre has, well, he's nailed the strategy. He's kept it clean, and he's been quick, very quick, with only 2 corners to go, and an absent Bon Evil not here tonight. Pierre reignites his championship hopes and wins the Japanese Grand Prix and takes over nearly maximum points after Bon Evil winning the 2 previous races. Cameron Caboon, after starting in 3rd, will finish in 2nd place, and also with Pierre close down that gap to Bon Evil, the current championship leader. We've got questions in the chat asking if it's been the most dominant race ever. I'm not too sure. We'd have to go back to, well, maybe last week, you could say, with Bon Evil taking 2 poles, 2 wins, 2 fastest laps, and led every single lap, 2 consecutive Grand Slams. That could be classed as the most dominant win from the race weekend, or we'd have to go back to one of Dutchy's wins, one of his many wins. Season 3, where he won 12 races at a 15-race calendar. Natty's slowing down up to the line, will finish in 3rd place, maybe just waiting for his friend Two Saints to greet him over the line. Oh, there we have it. Need to stop the thing. I forgot Aston was a lap down, and Two Saints crosses the line in 4th place, just behind his rival Ecstatic G. Either someone's being shot or it's party time as fireworks are being lit outside my house. I don't know who or where it is. I cannot see them. They're in the distance. I hope you cannot hear it on the stream. Let's go through the grid then for the grid. We've already been through the grid. The final race results from today's race. Aston in 5th, behind Two Saints in 4th. Misses out on Natty in 3rd place. Your top 3. Natty in 3rd. Cameron in 2nd, and Piero in 1st place. Your race winner for today's Japanese Grand Prix. Cameron could be saying he missed the final few laps. Yes, you can watch it back on YouTube if you missed it. What's the best angle to get of Piero's car? He's kind of in an awkward part of the circuit. Let's go here. Look at, what is this? Everyone's tuning into the end of the stream. What's going on there? Hello, everyone. Welcome to the end of the Japanese Grand Prix. We just crowned our winner. There we go. I'm not the best at the photography. By that, I mean I can do good angles and shutter speed. I don't do any of the other fancy pants reflections or anything that I see a lot of people do. That's a pretty nice photo of your race winner, if I do say so myself. But there you have it. That's the end of the Japanese Grand Prix here at Autopolis. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I've been Ecstatic G. Make sure to join us next time at I think the Nürburgring. Spa was a sprint. So yeah, the Nürburgring is round number 7. The final 3 races of season 8. I had to think there for a second. I couldn't quite remember which way the Nürburgring and Spa went. Often in calendars, I've put the Nürburgring and Spa next to each other. So yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a good stream. Yes, the Nürburgring. I actually can't remember what happened in the Nürburgring. Did it rain? I don't know. It can rain. But I guess we'll get... Oh, I remember the Nürburgring. I remember one thing from the Nürburgring. I'll mention it in the stream if I remember. Probably won't. Anyway, these outros are far too long. So I'll see you guys next time for the Nürburgring. Stay tuned on maybe Monday. I reckon I could do Nürburgring on Monday. And then Wednesday and then Friday. So every 2 days expect a stream. I know, that's good service. I've been Ecstatic G. Goodbye. See you next time. Stay safe.